Hello there everyone, so welcome to another episode here on Gorbad, Ironclaw, and we have some battles to fight. Finally I'm going to showcase this battle here with the Orc Boys and the Giants and the Artillery. So it is a really nice combination that we don't see every time. And it's a nice army to fight against. It's not exactly the best enemy army, but it does have some artillery, it does have some ranged units and some powerful iron breakers as well as some hammerers. So yeah, it's like it's missing some single entities and maybe some flyers, but that's a quite typical dwarf army that even has some mobility with the outpost units. So let's find it out and see how well these Orc Boys actually do, which is, you know, very interesting. So of course a couple of lines, so with the infantry in front in a staggered line with the archer units, but I did put my artillery in front so that I can hit first the grudge throwers. They have the biggest range. Orc guns have 300 only, so I have plenty of time to defeat the organ guns before they become a threat. And in essence that's the idea here. I'll just use my three units against the grudge throwers, and as you can see they're already destroying. Oh, that was a nice hit from my ROR unit from the rogue idol that actually is an artillery, which is excellent. I mean, it just combines so well in this army because I'm using monsters like single entities to try and get against anti-infantry, but that rogue idol just does enough damage to justify even as an artillery unit. And you'll see later on that he's very good and very important in actually defending that back line. So if you hit an enemy with a lot of artillery, if they start realizing that they are losing the ranged advantage, they will always go against you. And this is how you should always go against dwarfs. You know, like if you have some artillery, that's the point of having those grudge throwers, those rock lobbers, because it just allows you to gain the ranged advantage, and then suddenly the AI is moving towards you and you have the time to deal with the artillery. Can you imagine the damage of these organ guns and grudge rake, you know, everything, the grudge rakers, the thunderers, the gyrocopters. So right now he's just attacking with one at a time. He's doing damage, but I mean, this is already a nice prospect for me. I'm going to use a Fate of Bjorn. That's excellent, actually, against gyrocopters. It does a lot of damage. It helps out a lot, you know, and it's just an addition damage, even, which is I'm just using some archers against it, and then I pop the Fate of Bjorn, and their leadership just goes completely down the wire. So yeah, I'm sending in the infantry units and the single entities. So of course the main purpose of this is that the Orc Boys just soak a little bit for the Giants. And the Giants are the true killers, while the missile units do a lot of damage to anything that doesn't have a shield. Biggest problem here is that I have to use my missile units against the enemy missile units. I still haven't gained enough to destroy, you know, enough time to destroy those missile units with just my artillery, but I'm doing my best there. You can see that they are already damaged, you know, most of their units are damaged, and then you just have to really check out on the Orc Boys and everything. Reason for these Orc Boys being so, you know, devastated is because the grudge rakers are attacking in this area against that giant, and they can kind of kill it if I'm not careful. I actually moved the missile units there wrongly because I was trying to attack the war wagons. But for now everything seems to be controlled, except this charge. I completely forgot about the Knights of the Black Rose, so that's why we have some backup plans, like a single entity that is fast like this hero. It's really cool. And then I'm singing in the rogue idol now that he has wasted the ammunition, which is excellent. The only thing that I'm missing out is actually ensuring that I don't lose any units. It may seem like the enemy is pulling through, but any units that go through are immediately attacked by archers. And yep, he's gonna eat his head. Oh my god, that's a hungry giant. But I guess that's how it would happen, you know, fighting against the giant. So the only issue here is that they do have a lot of leadership, of course, like dwarves always have, and especially dwarves with iron breakers and such. And that's why they don't break as fast. But still, considering that I'm using literally orc boys, you know, I'm using tier 2 units or tier 1 units against these guys with lots of great units. So it's sometimes it's all about what you're using and how, you know. I'm using the giants, of course, and the rogue idols, which are much better units to destroy the enemy, and it works like you see. Yes, it is a Pyrrhic victory, but that's a powerful army, you know. And of course you see the orc boys, they hold on just enough. They still don't have their stats to the maximum, which should be counted on, you know. They still don't have their you know, their tier 5. They still don't have art lads. I completely missed that there. So there's a lot, because they don't have the tier 7. No, they don't have tier 9 in experience, and they don't have the art lads there, so the upgrade for the Redline skill. So they can be way better than this, and they still don't have scrap upgrades. So you can see how that's just research and a little bit of Redline skills on them. So yeah, they can definitely do a lot better. So over here, I'd likely have to withdraw. There's a lot of armies there. I'm glad that I moved a hero to discover. So I'm having to withdraw, but I'll still be successful. Likely they are going to attack me, and in a position that I can defeat them. So let's dedicate to more Gork, because I do have lots of cavalry around here, you know, and lots of trolls and black orcs, and the spider riders also benefit from it. So I have a lot of melee, and now I got some wog units as well, which is perfect. And yeah, the reputation just does it so nicely, you know, just does it so nicely. So in essence, oh, by the way, I'm actually, this is patch 6.2, so I'm going to do a lot of, on the background, itemization. I'm going to fuse a lot of items. I have a video actually yesterday, if not mistaken, by the time that this video goes live. So I have a video that showcases what I'm going to do, okay, or not showcases, but you know how it works with the fusion and everything. And then I'm going to use for Oglok, for instance, a very nice thing that changed, which is finally that you can use multiple banners of the same type. So it's all banners, Swiftness, baby. It's going to go for this guy. So I'm going to go in and do a really nice idea there, and you're going to see it in battle. It's just crazy in this episode. So yeah, I do have a lot of these units, you know, these lava riders, and it's actually the best unit to have against Nurgle, because they cause fire damage, and Nurgle is fairly weak against that. Just sending in these guys, you know, the heroes, making sure that I'm moving. Clan Richters, I know they are at war with the greenskins, but that's fine, you know. It's not like I really don't want to be at war, instead of wanting a good ally with Grimgor, you know, because I can always just beat Grimgor and confederate him if I need, which is something nice about the greenskins. They can be allies and, you know, in confederate the typical way, or they can just go in and do it differently, you know. So it's not a big army. I don't know why they attacked me. They're attacking even with the reinforcements, but I have those 4 banner of swiftness. I have another one that gives charge. That's fine. But look at that. That's 117 speed. These guys start with 70. And the charge bonus is 95. So they'll get striders. So these guys are going to stop at nothing. Nothing is going to make them stop. And they have more mass, by the way, because of all the buildings that have been gathered, and there's a lot of I think there's mass as well because of the what's it called, the tactic as well. I think I don't even have the tactic. Look at that charge board. It's 150. these guys are gonna demolish that. And he's in the woods, which is actually, I didn't consider it until I'm halfway through the battle, and I was like, oh, these guys are doing really well. Oh, they have Strider, and the enemy doesn't. So the enemy is just really poorly positioned in the woods. It's gonna go against them because I have no penalties here with my large units, while they do have. So yeah, that's one thing. Never hide in the woods against Slaanesh. And I guess I'm going to be Slaanesh here. So the plan is very simple. I'll advance the Black Orcs and miss out units as quick as I can, while my flank just demolishes the right flank of the enemy. So my left flank demolishes the right flank. And I can't send this Lord here because they will lose a lot of shots. Trying to hit him through the trees, so it's kind of fine. I'm actually going immediately against the artillery unit there with my lord. I'm gonna pause there because I wanted to make a different video there, but look at this. They don't stop, they just charge through. You remember the Grail, you know, the Grail Guardians and Knights issue that everyone was complaining? That's what you get. You get the better swiftness on these Orc Boar big guns, and that's it. And I'm even using my Shaman to give these guys better stats in melee. So that's great. Like 42, there we go. That's a nice melee attack. 43 actually, and 59. That's what we want. And I gave these guys the 69 melee attack with the Eerie Go. So that's just insane. These guys don't. You can see it. They're demolishing the enemy units and just waltzing around and crashing everything. So yeah, if you want a fun build, just bring 6 banner swiftness and lots of Orc Boy big guns, or Savage Orc Boy big guns, of course. I'm just using the Orc Boars because of Oglok. It's just thematic, and it works. Don't tell me it doesn't work, because it does work. I'm not even. You know, my archers are still not shooting, or now they're shooting. And my Black Orcs have just arrived to the battle. I have had no need for them, you know. I think I could have done this just with the Orc Boar boys. And so, of course, the Caster. The Caster is really important to give them the buffs for melee attack, you know. And then with the Wog, they just get even better. So, yeah, that's it. And then you just debuff or buff anything that is attacking enemies that, you know, can deal with them. Like, the only thing that I'm seeing that could deal with them is maybe steam tanks, land ships, anything really anti-large like a demigriff with halberds, or just a ton of halberdiers could do damage. But still, yeah. And there we go. These are demigriffs, and they're melting to these very low health Orc Boar boys. Because they just have, you know, 61 melee defense. Yeah, that's nice, but I have 37 melee attack. You know, it helps. It's enough. That difference is still enough, and that's a victory. And look, my Black Orcs barely managed to reach it. But yeah. That's a fun build. I'm gonna enjoy that on even open ground. I thought, oh, I was gonna enjoy it in open ground. No. I enjoyed it in the forest. That's what you bring for the forests. So lots of loot, of course. Post-battle loot is increasing a lot. Some guys actually give me like 16k or something like that, depending on the battle. 2,600 damage dealt. Yeah, that's how you do an Orc build. An Orc Boar big gun build. Well, of course, it's a balanced army still, but the main focus, it's towards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. And we have a third battle. And this, I didn't record the initial of it, and it's a Pyrrhic victory. Actually, it's not a Pyrrhic victory, it's a close defeat. And my units start halfway, which is the problem. If they weren't, this would be easy. But he caught him. You know, I've been fighting some battles with these guys because he has the stalking, so I can, you know, attack, auto-resolve, and go back. And I thought I was out of range, but it turns out I am not. So he's attacking with 2 armies, and I'm just deciding it's a poor map for this. I thought I could attack the initial army really fast and overwhelm it. But in this case, I'm going to have to go after the reinforcements and hope that I can defend here. Maybe the main tool that I have here is the hatchlings, because I have 15 of these, you know, and used properly, they'll soak charges. They'll make sure that the enemy is just attacking them instead of attacking my proper units. And anything that goes past them, I'll just use my single entities. So there's a lot of ways that I can defend against the forced goblin, you know, for my forced goblins not to die. And hopefully the other enemy army goes after my reinforcements, which is exactly what's going to happen. So that's good. And see there, the hatchlings already drawed in some artillery fires, some missiles, some even a final transmutation. So the enemy caster now has almost no strength. Note that I'm Strider with this guy. I have Devastating Flanker. Unfortunately, I'm not flanking, but I have the Hunger. So overall, this is, and I have Poison. So these guys are not doing a lot of damage. The enemy is not doing a lot of damage. And I'm still just doing hatchlings as much as I can, putting them right in the middle of the enemy, using the missile units to deal with the captains here. It's just so easy. A nice purple sun to destroy some units here, which is great. Actually, those are great swords, if not mistaken. They're immediately routing. Or halberdiers, actually. Immediately routing, so that's good. That's one unit that could cause problem. And yeah, you can see that at one point I'm just sending in the single entities and retreating my forced spider riders. And I think that's a nice tactic if you try to use this army. If you see the spiderlings, you know, your forced spider riders suffering, you know, maybe they are, you know, chewing more than what they can eat, you know. Just send in the single entities. They have the mortis effect, you know, the brood mothers with the static. It just works so well. This army, I'm considering sending it to as a sort of disaster battle to Legend Total War to see how he would use this army, you know. And I did defeat this enemy quite easily. This is a heroic victory, you know. But I thought, it's a good battle to showcase how it works. And it's not even fully optimized, the army. And that's just a positive. Because if a non-fully optimized army can deal this amount with 2 armies of the enemy, and these are very good units, then how good is the army? You understand what I'm saying? This is likely one of my favorite stacks that I have here. It sounds like a doom stack whenever I mention it, because even though it's a balanced army, it just crushes enemies. Look at that. Enemy reinforcements are dead. And that's just the fact that I'm sending in the single entities, support all the single entities, supported by the spider hatchlings and the fire from the flaming the spiders there. And suddenly just using the right spells, making sure that they start to rout. And because of all that, the single entities having the brood mothers having that Mortis engine effect from the tactic, it just works so well. This army, if you're not fighting with Gorbad, doesn't work as well because you don't have the tactics, you don't have the plan, right? But it still works pretty damn nicely, you know. Now these spiders are attacking the enemy artillery, doing a great job at it. I thought I would lose more here. I think I end up losing only 1 for Spider Rider, considering that I'm under attack by artillery, considering that they had to fight 3 main engagements. They're gonna have to fight against the main army that's coming back from the enemy. And at this point I realize, okay, this is great. It's going really well. I'm going to redeploy here and make sure that I have a battle on my terms. I have still artillery units. He doesn't. Those are all going to rout. And because I have those artillery units, you know, my flingsters, the rock spider flingsters, I'm going to fight on my terms and he's going to suffer a lot. Over here, just 1 spider hatchling unit, a couple of spider hatchling units against with the giant river troll hag. It's giving them just anything that can debuff, honestly. I think I wanted the other debuff. I didn't notice what I was casting, actually. No, actually, I casted that because it's 3 charges, and I still had the 3 charges, so why not? You know, just debuff the enemy a little bit. And I think that's the unit that I lose because they're under attack by the Outriders. But everything else is surviving. It's good. I'm sending in again Spider Hatchlings. My hero is going to send the web here. And you're going to see it's just a nice web because immediately 1, 2, 3. So it just helps the Flingers attack this unit. Even though they are not going to cause a lot of damage, they're going to slow it down. The Spiderlings are going to do some damage here, and it just buys me time. Whenever you have these ways to buy time, I mean, the enemy is still not in their best. They're complete disarray. They don't have the units properly managed, you know. And now I can send, you know, a massive debuff here, and sending in my archer units there, so basically the hatchlings are going in, just forcing engagements to ensure that when I engage with my spider riders, it's like against 1 unit. So yeah, it's all spider hatchlings. The spiders that you see dying, it's all spider hatchlings. And that's the best part, I think. It's 15 of these. I mean, 15 summons. It's not something that I need to explain to you guys. Even if it was summoning peasants or Skaven slaves, it would do the same thing, which is just to distract the enemy. And now I'm doing some casting, anything that I can. I'm gonna cast the Purple Sun here in a moment, but that's the nasty curse. It does some damage and decreases their speed, decreases everything. Purple Sun here, you know. It's a nice vortex. It doesn't do a lot of damage to these units. I could have casted just the Fate of Bjorn actually against them, but by the time that I cast it, I thought there was some infantry units there, and I didn't. I couldn't, you know, I was focusing on all the micro, so sometimes I just cast because, hey, there's some enemy units, go. And the flag misdirected me. The unit was not there. And now, of course, I still have the Broodmother's ability, so they're doing damage by Mortis engines. So this is how you fight like with a vampire count army, you know, send the Mortis engines in. But in this case, I have missile units. And that's how it works. This was a close defeat into heroic victory. And I mean, I'm just pursuing at this moment I'm just attacking the units that are like the Tater Souls here. They are unbreakable, but the battle is won already. Yeah. And that was an amazing battle, actually. These are 2 armies from the Empire that were going to cause some damage, you know. And suddenly they're destroyed. So that's a heroic victory. I lost 1 spider. 1 spider. And I nearly destroyed everything here. Really, that was an amazing fight. I mean, everyone did a lot of damage. Who did more? Yeah, of course, 3,000. So that's the Fates of Bjorn and everything. 3,000 apiece here on the Arachnarok Spider. So yeah, everyone doing a ton of damage. So that's nice. That's how it works. I definitely want army replenished because at this point it's the enemy turn. I have no idea if he's gonna attack, and he didn't. So, to resume what has been happening, he conquered these guys. The rebels conquered there, the nasty rebels. I guess it's fine. I'll just recapture it. And there's an enemy army coming in. I'm fearing that he might go against me, but if anything, I'll just, you know, send 1 unit back, you know, to deal with that. 1 army back. Let's see what the next movement from that army is. Sometimes it can go to another place. So don't always think, oh my god, you know, if you have garrisons, 2 garrisons, 3 garrisons can deal with the enemy enough to force them out and buy you time. So I have Zolspuk Armbreaker here. There's an army there in Krugenheim that may be able to catch that guy, so I don't know, maybe before I end the turn, maybe I'm gonna try to move in Force March to try and see if he can leave the area. Snide, yeah, there's I can recruit 1 more mob. Yeah, another Arachnarok Spider, doesn't hurt. And this army is really good. I'm glad I actually they have enough gold, because I'm losing 16k. But this is how you also do a losing economy. You know, you just count on a lot of battles. And yeah, and every single building that you're getting, it's going to count. This was at 20k and now it's at 16, and I'm capturing places and conquering everything. So yeah. And of course, every single lord, by the way, I prioritized getting items for the lords and trying to go for specific ones depending on what their army composition is. Like if they have many cavalry, I'll give them something for speed. You know, that sort of idea. This hero, I don't know why, but it has so many movements and it's going to check out Lustria. But that's enough for today. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next episode. Bye bye.